Okay, so what happened is apparently overnight, Blizzard suddenly published a brand new map pool. Now, I saw that some of this was being communicated. So some of these are like the most popular maps from the TOMC, voted by the community. Some of them are voted by the pro gamers. And then some of them are voted by the map makers. And then there are two maps from the previous map pool. That would be Ley Lines and Ultra Love. And they are basically carryover from the previous season, because they have like the most fair win-loss ratio across the board. So here's a full overview of all of them. We can have a quick little look. This map is called Incorporeal by Monitor. I've seen a bunch of the TOMC games, but it's gonna be quite difficult to really judge what the maps are like, right? Without actually playing a lot of games on them. Oh yeah, this is the map with the blockable expansions in the bottom left and also in the top right. Kind of funky. It's interesting, though, to actually take the community votes. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's really nice that they've decided to take the community votes, because pro gamers tend to prefer the more boring, more straight-up maps, because they're, you know, tried and true. But I'm glad to see a bit more variety. Even though I can imagine a lot of the community-voted maps are not necessarily going to be the most popular ones. This map looks good. So a central Xel'Naga tower splits two central high ground pods. Gaining control of the tower provides a vision of the primary attack path, with only the outer paths out of vision range. Center mineral-only expansions contain 10 blue minerals. Okay. I like it. This is definitely a community-voted map, though. This map is called Last Fantasy, and it's a 3-player map. Now, obviously, it's not a free-for-all. It's still a 1v1 map. So rather than... So basically what we end up with on a map like this is rotational symmetry. And generally speaking, the problem that is perceived with 3-player or 4-player maps is that certain spawn locations are just simply better in a certain matchup. So say you're a Terran player and you want to go for siege tank based attacks, maybe one spot just gives you better siege tank positioning. I like this though because it forces variety into the game. This map in particular I've liked quite a bit, mostly because of these center bases. These center bases are really wild and wacky. So this whole thing, by the way, in the center over here, these are all speed circles. There's very little dead space around the outside. So the red wall over here is like a flying unit blocker. I think it's really cool. I don't know if we're going to see it very frequently in tournaments, because I can imagine this is a quick veto for a lot of players, but maybe not. Created by Timmy. That's all we know. Fair enough. Now, I've gone through these already when I first judged the TOMC maps, right? This is one of from the most recent Team Liquid map contest. Next up, Ley Lines. We have seen a gajillion games on this map. Good map. I don't really think anybody can complain about this one. Good map. Over here, we have Magannatha. Not to be confused with Jagannatha. I've never liked the map name, but I guess I will let it slide. I didn't actually notice at the time when I first had a look at the... I don't think I mentioned it anyways. There's a commentator in StarCraft 2 from Egypt called Magannatha. Very nice guy. I've met him at a bunch of events. And apparently somebody decided to make a map name. Or at the very least, it's similar to, you know, Jagannatha, based on him instead. Pretty good pun that made it through. As far as the map layout goes, does it say anything over here? Dedicated to the Egyptian caster Magannatha. That's all we know. All right, fair enough. This map looks really big. So some of these sections over here are kind of interesting. There's a destructible tower over here that can, I guess, destroy the Xel'Naga watchtower. Same over here, some more destructible towers over there too that I think destroy the speed circle. More over here too, and then there's already a rock set up. So you can destroy the rocks, kill the towers, and then destroy even more rocks. Rocks over here. There's rocks everywhere, man. Looks like an interesting map though. A fun little twist on what we are used to. It does look very large. No. There's a gold base over here too. All right. Excited to see some games on that. Then we have one of my personal favorites, Persephone. Persephone actually has a healing circle right over here, and then a giant highway on the right side of the map. So this is a speed circle into a speed circle into a speed circle into more speed circles over here too. What I like about this map, in my mind, right? In my mind, when I look at a game of StarCraft, I can already picture the 9 o'clock base being the final one and 2 players fighting over it. There is no mirrored location over here at the 3 o'clock, meaning that if all of those bases are over here mined out for the player at the bottom, and likewise all of the bases over here at the top are mined out, you get this epic battle that I can see in my mind for the golden minerals. When they're surrounded by speed circles, though, it's going to make the fights incredibly chaotic. Because what StarCraft needs is more speed, right? We need a slower time to kill and even more unit movement. This would be incredibly messy. Probably not very fun to play, but very fun to watch. And that healing circle is interesting too. This one actually has a flying unit blocker. So a lot of people are under the assumption that like healing circles are too strong. I'm not sure if I agree. Specifically for Oracle's early game. So this one can only be accessed by ground units. Persephone, does it say any description over here? Reflection symmetry. Okay, acceleration zone highway and then gold base. All right, dude. I like how refined all of these descriptions are. This is the Blizzard quality we have come to expect. All right, next up we have Pylon. I think Pylon was a map that was voted not by the community, not by the programmers, but by the map makers themselves. Yeah. So this is the choice from the guys that make the maps. A high-risk, high-reward, rich gas base doubles as a mineral wall, leaving it exposed and open after mining out. Double light bridges in the center are now buildable or burrowable. Oh, okay. So originally, I think on the first version of the map on the TOMC, these bridges were not buildable. Yeah, these bridges are gonna be one of the central locations for fights, I think. Especially in, like, the late game. These bases over here are very interesting. So there's the golden wall, or the rich gas over here, too. Looks like a good map. Like, none of these maps... none of these maps, I look at it and I'm like, I don't know, dude. This looks like a pretty standard map, but then with a slight twist. I can live with that. Tokome. I did cast a bunch of games on this map too. Tokome has these destructible towers that actually destroy mineral fields. So if you see your opponent expanding over here, you can kill the rock tower and then destroy their mineral line. I don't know how practical that is in an actual game, but it's a cool idea. And this map looked really solid. Wide macro map with 16 bases. There are 2 hybrid bases with minerals blocking a path. The path can be opened by, or can be open. The path can be opened by mining or by destroying the cooling towers behind the base, which crushes all blue mineral nodes. Looks good. Then we have torches. I like torches a lot. This map is also pretty nuts. So the entire right side over here is not accessible until later on, until either you drop a flying unit there, you Nidus Worm, you mine out the mineral fields over here, or you destroy or wait until these tentacle rocks are down. Then the bases on this map are shared. So the base over here, as well as the base over here, are shared and mineable from either side. So there's a tiny little gas geyser, couple pixels over here, and then also on the other side of the mineral wall. And then there's also a healing circle at the far 9 o'clock. This is pretty wild stuff, man. Yeah, there's 2 of those shared bases. Yeah, it's a brand new map pool. 2 maps carried over. This is one that carried over, called Ultra Love. I think we've seen that one, right? Yeah. I don't know if Torches has any So from your natural, you gain access to a forward pseudo-island base through a mineral wall, separating your island from the opponent's island, as well as the low ground on the left because of the gold wall bases. The island can be attacked through a rocked-off ramp. Each island has a lone rich geyser. So in mapmaker speak, something that is fully accessible by land is called an island, okay? Now, once upon a time in the StarCraft world, we had these, like, gigantic islands, and they would very much so benefit Terran players because you can fly a command center there. These are like pseudo-islands in the sense that they aren't accessible at the start until, like, something happens. So they're not really islands, but they're still island-ish, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so Ley Lines is good. Magannatha looks good. Last Fantasy looks very interesting. I love it, but I don't know if it's good. Ultra Love is good. Incorporeal. Incorporeal. I'm gonna have to figure out how to pronounce that. This map, I haven't seen enough games on. There's also this weird alleyway over here on the right and on the left. I find this spot very odd. I feel like this is like proxy Stargate heaven. Like, if you build a proxy, I mean, you have to build it over here if your opponent spawned in that side, right? There's nothing here, dude. We generally, like, it's like a cul-de-sac. We generally don't have cul-de-sacs on StarCraft maps. It's just going nowhere. The only reason for this to exist is for proxies. Cool map. I think it works. Tokome. I believe this, by the way, is a part of a nuclear reactor. Or, what was it? Something along those lines. A white macro map, yeah, this map is excellent. Pylon looks good. Torches looks good. Persephone looks good. Honestly, all of these look great. This should be a really exciting map pool. It's just that they kind of just whipped it out of nowhere. No official announcement post. Nothing by Blizzard. No communication. They just kind of published it. Which, don't get me wrong, it's way better than just having no new stuff. And I guess considering a lot of tournaments are coming up real soon, this is the perfect time to be publishing them. In the past, these map changes would coincide with a new season. Now, the new season in StarCraft 2 started a little while ago. So I guess we have a mid-season tournament map pool change. It's all a little bit funky, but hey, new stuff is better than old stuff, right? Well, not always. We'll see. But I'm excited for this. I think a lot of these games are going to be fun. Now, a lot of tournaments are currently ongoing. I think most of the time, map pool changes that are mid-tournament, usually you play the tournament out on the old map pool. So I can imagine it's going to be a little bit until we get, for example, Incorporeal, right? Or Pylon and stuff in tournaments. But maybe not. I don't know. Like, I can imagine a lot of... So it's very likely that the World Cup is going to be played on this map pool. So I can imagine that a lot of programmers will be more than down to just begin practice on these maps ASAP. Just, you know, begin the practice as quickly as possible. Begin them as soon as quick. Yeah, because otherwise, why would you be playing the old map still? What's the purpose if you're not gonna... So we'll see. We'll see. But it looks fun.